Go.
Hello, this is George.
And Bonnie. Ah.
And this is Adonai Sanctuary Truth Classroom. Today is September 9th.
9
Wow.
9.
Isn't that amazing?
9 9.
And we are on
Well, that's funny. We're in chapter 9.
9. Well, one thing I've noticed today, little sideshow here. One thing I noticed today was I was sitting there watching some TV, and they've had talk shows and newscasts and everything. And you know what's missing in most of those talk shows and all that, movies and all that stuff, is truth. Those talk shows just want to get people to watch, no matter what they want to entertain. The shows just show anything they want. But none of that seems to have to be with truth. And you can go right down to the news. So, that was just a little sideshow, about 15-second sideshow. We're getting into chapter 9, starts out with the news. Isn't that amazing? The news of what happened in the area west of the Jordan River, beginning to join forces against those Hebrews. My sweetie's going to read 9, 1 and 2.
When all the kings on the west side of the Jordan in the hills, in the Shephelah, and all along the shore of the great sea that fronts the Lebanon, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, I think I got all that.
That's right.
Heard what had happened. They joined forces to fight against Joshua and Israel.
Israel, with Yehoshua being backed by their God. Adonai is too strong against each one of us, so we must stand together. So the kings, which my sweetie read, of the Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, Canaanites, Perizzites, and the Jebusites all decided to join forces to get rid of those Israelites. However, the community called Givah, most translations in the English call it Gibeon, but in the Hebrew it's Givah, Givah. Well, my sweetie's going to read 3.
But when the inhabitants of Giv'al heard what Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai,
The people of Givah heard what those Hebrews have already done to Jericho and Ai. Now, maybe one of those was a really fortified city, like, Jericho. They decided to put on a show. I like the way that's stated. It's not stated like that in the scriptures, but they decided to put on a show. My sweetie's going to read 4 through 6.
they developed a clever deception. They split that word funny. They made themselves look as if they had been on a long journey by putting on old sacks on their donkeys and taking used wineskins that had burst and been mended back together. They put old patched sandals on their feet and dressed in worn out clothes, and took as provisions nothing but dried up bread that was crumbling to pieces. Then they went to Joshua in the camp of Gilgal and said to him and the men of Israel, "We have come from a country far away. Now make a covenant with us."
See what I said? And they decided to put on a show. We've come to you because we heard how great you are. Look at our provisions. Far away, yet really, if you looked in the scriptures, it's about 16 miles away. Make a covenant so if you get to our faraway land, we will not have to fear each other. But in 9:1 and 2, it states the Hivites were part of that group joining forces against Israel. The leading men of Israel asked, read 7 and 8, please.
The men of Israel said to the Hivite, "How do we know that you don't live here among us? If you do, we don't want to make a covenant with you." But they answered Joshua, "We are your servants." Joshua answered, "Who are you and where do you come from?"
O Israel, we are your servants. Then Yehoshua asked the question, who are you and where did you come from? Here we go. We mustn't look like a hindrance to them, only that we mean no harm. Read 9, please.
They answered, "Your servants have come from a very distant country because of the reputation of Adonai your God. We have heard reports about him, everything he did in Egypt."
Yes, sir. We heard what happened in Egypt and what happened to the kings west of the Jordan. Read 10, please.
"And everything he did to the two kings of the Amorites across the Jordan, Sashan king of Heshbon and Og the king of Bashan in Ashtaroth."
Think about it. Now the show begins. Read 11 through 13, please.
"So the leaders and all the people living in our country said to us, 'Take provisions with you for your journey. Go to meet them and say to them, "We are your servants, and now make a covenant with us. Here is the bread which we took for our provisions. It was still warm when we took it out of our homes the day we left to come to you. Now look at it. It's dried and turned to crumbs. And these wineskins were new when we filled them, but look, now they are torn. Likewise, these clothes of ours and our shoes are worn out because of a very long journey.'" You said through 13?
Mm-hmm. Look at the bread. Wineskins, see what I mean? Now the show begins. Look at the bread, the wineskins, the sandals, clothes, and they were all new when we started looking for you. Now all of them worn out from our journey. How long did it take them to walk those 16 miles? Then it states the same kind of reaction we usually do. Read 14.
"The men sampled some of their food, but didn't seek the advice of Adonai."
Without inquiring with Adonai, Israel reacted to their sad show of humility. The Hebrews made a covenant with them. Read 15, please.
"So Joshua made peace with them and made a covenant with them to spare their lives. And the leading officials of the community swore to them."
Remember, they didn't inquire with Adonai. So listen, Yehoshua was part of that group of leaders. Then the truth comes out. 16, please.
"But 3 days later, after they made the covenant with them, they heard that they were their neighbors, that they lived there with them."
The Hebrew leaders got wind of who they really were, their neighbors. You might say they did make a treaty with some of the inhabitants of Canaan. Mm-hmm. See, Givon was about 3 miles from Givah and Kiryat. Yemen was about 6 miles away. The distance isn't the important part. How about Deuteronomy 7, verse 2? Read that, please.
7:2. "When he does this, when Adonai your God hands them over to you and you defeat them, you are to destroy them completely. Do not make any covenant with them. Show them no mercy."
Now go to 20, Deuteronomy 20, 17 and 18.
"Rather, you must destroy them completely, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as Adonai your God has ordered you, so that they won't teach you to follow their abominable practices, which they do for their gods, thus causing you to sin against Adonai your God.
Now think about it. One of the things that the Hebrews have done in the future, we know about it, is that they started worshiping those gods of the Canaanites. But my sweetie's going to go to Numbers 33, verse 55.
But if you don't drive out the inhabitants of the land from in front of you, then those you allow to remain will become like thorns in your eyes and stings on your sides. They will harass you in the land where you are living. Like what happened?
I wrote, this is why we have to go to Shemot. That's Exodus 23. My sweetie's going to read 32 and 33.
You are not to make a covenant with them or with their gods. They are not to live in your land, otherwise they will make you sin against me by ensnaring you to serve their gods.
And
Just what happened?
Did the leaders of Israel do? The leaders. Yes, they made a covenant, but they didn't. Read 9:14, please, of Yahushua.
The men sampled some of their food, but didn't seek the advice of Adonai.
They didn't go and seek the advice of Adonai on this situation.
See what happened.
And therefore, because of those other 4 readings, they went against Adonai and his command to Israel. And you might say, that great man, Yehoshua, at that time, Yehoshua didn't seek his advice either. Interesting. What would have happened if he had done to seek his advice?
I wonder.
It seems that Yehoshua didn't address Adonai the way he was supposed to. Interesting. It seems the people didn't like what the leaders had done. Read 18, please.
The people of Israel did not attack them because the leading officials of the community had sworn to them by Adonai, the God of Israel. But all the community grumbled against the leaders.
The people, well, you might say, did the community see the problem the leaders had brought on them before their leaders would even admit it? Interesting thought, isn't it? Read 19, please.
However, the leaders replied to the whole community, "We have sworn to them by Adonai, the God of Israel, so we can't touch them."
We know we messed up. But we gave them our word, and yes, we can't touch those Canaanites. Those Hivites will live, but read 20 and 21, please.
Here is what we will do to them. We will let them live, so that God's anger will not be on us because of the oath we swore to them. Yes, let them live, the leaders continued, but let them chop wood and draw water for the whole community. This is what the leaders said.
We messed up. And maybe, you think that's what they were saying? They're whispering to each other, hey, we messed up.
Now what are we going to do?
Maybe Adonai's anger won't be on us if we make them work like, well, chopping wood or getting our whole community water. Now, wait a minute. They didn't follow what they were supposed to do, so they think making somebody chop wood and carry water is going to suffice for them. But Yehoshua asked them an obvious question. My sweetie's going to read 22 and 23.
Joshua summoned them and said this to them: Why have you deceived us by saying, we come from a very far away, when in fact you are living right here with us? Now you have a curse on you. You will be slaves forever, supplying people to chop wood and draw water for the house of my God.
You might say, this is why. Read 24, please.
They answered Joshua, It is because we heard the reports that Adonai your God had ordered his servant Moses to give you all the land and to destroy all the inhabitants of the land from ahead of you. So we were terrified for our lives on account of you. That's why we did this.
Yes, we were scared of you. We are in your hands now. Do what you want. Read 25 and 26, please.
Now, as you see, we are in your hands. Do to us whatever seems good and right to you. So Joshua did exactly that. He saved them from the power of the people of Israel so that they didn't kill them. 25, 26.
Because they made that covenant, Yehoshua saved those Hivites from the Hebrews. See, the common people were mad at the leaders for doing that. And by the way that two verses read, it almost sounds like Jehoshua had to step in and say, wait a minute, we can't kill him. We made that covenant with him. Or I think maybe the common people just might have killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Read 27, please.
But he did that same day make them choppers of wood and drawers of water for the community and for the altar of Adonai in the place which he would choose. And they remain so to this day.
They chopped wood and brought water for all Israel and for the altar of Adonai. And she ended that little reading with, until this day. Does that mean until the day that was written? Because they don't do that right now. Do you think maybe it was when they wrote that down? When that was put in play? And for how long? That was an interesting thought that Adonai... Okay. That was just another little side note. See, the leaders went against Adonai. They messed up. And the normal people didn't appreciate it. I got to read that again. Because the next part I read after this is going to be kind of interesting. See, the leaders went against Adonai. They messed up. And the normal people didn't appreciate it. They wanted truth with Adonai. Today, the leaders of religion are doing the same thing as the leaders of Israel did back then. And it's time for the normal people study to find truth, turn from their brainwashing, and stop following any man-made-up religion. That's a strong statement.
Yeah. Amen.
Follow Adonai and study, because guess what? Your eternity depends on it.
Yep.
That's it for tonight. It was interesting to say such a short verse, such a short time. Mm-hmm. Easy to talk about. But think about the truth and how it fits even in today's world. Interesting. I hope you have a good week.
Yeah.
Hope you ever watches it, comes on and watches it on YouTube or Facebook or wherever it is.
Either one.
We're going to try to figure out a way of coming back on live, because Adonai wants it live. And I think a lot of people do too. We do.
Mm-hmm.
Brother George over there, he just wants it live, yes. So do we. You have a great week. Bye.